Welcome to Cult Talk. Today we answer the question, is Children of the Corn Runaways... Fuck me, I almost said
Classic Ed.
Welcome to the Cult... Fuck, god damn it.
God damn it, Ed.
Welcome to Cult Talk. Today we answer the question, is Children of the Corn Runaway worth a watch?
This is the 10th entry into the Children of the Corn franchise, and it comes directly off the first film, and follows one of the former followers of the Corn as they run away from the cult. And this is what, 15 years later?
I think so.
Yeah, 15 years later, she's building the run. She has a child now, and her whole life is just running away from the cult. And she finally finds a town where she wants to settle, and this is where our story picks up. Yes, Butters?
Are they? It kind of seems to me that every Children of the Corn follower is Amish, and they're just trying to get away from the Amish.
Thanks for the observation.
I can see that. Yeah. It's a great...
This is directed by John Gallagher, who is the director of the Feast franchise as well as Piranha 3 Double D. And earlier this year, he had a cameo in Hellraiser Judgment, which was actually a good straight-to-video film. This, not so much. This whole movie, it's boring. Like, straight up boring. Like, that's the only way you can describe it. Nothing happens in this movie. There is no, action. There's no, shocking moments. I mean, it's just a very dull movie trying to tell this mother-son story. And it's so drab and just dull. It's drug out so much.
A lot of the editing didn't make sense. There was quick cuts where there shouldn't have been quick cuts. I mean, you have an establishing shot that's like a quarter of a second. That's not an establishing shot. It makes no sense. There's no reason for it to be there. A lot of the shots looked like they were shot handheld, which made no sense. It looked like they were intentionally shaking the camera at some points.
Yeah, for real.
If you're doing that for a cinematography to add to the story, that's great. I mean, I would applaud you for trying to be original, but it didn't work.
The whole movie.
It gave me motion sickness.
The whole movie, the camera was moving. It was never steady. It was always floating back and forth, up and down. It constantly had to be moving.
It was terrible. I really felt sick to my stomach watching the movie, and I don't get motion sickness.
Yeah, the whole movie, they constantly shaking. They did have some really weird camera work. One thing I liked was that first hallucination she has when they're in the diner. It does this really cool slow motion, with the blood. It's frozen in air, and it's really nicely shot, but for no reason whatsoever. It serves no purpose.
A lot of things in this movie there was no reason. There was one point where she was at her job as the mechanic, and she's talking to the boss, and then they cut to a scene of the waitress, and she heats up a spoon, and then serves the soup to I understand, you're adding some, I guess, comedic relief to the movie, but I mean, put it in context of the story or a subplot or a scene, not just throw it in there out of nowhere. There was no reason for that to be there.
No reason whatsoever. It was just there. It was just make this waitress look like an asshole, really. Which everyone in this town apparently is an asshole. There's not a nice person in this town. There's one character played by Lynn Andrews III. It's actually Ruth's boss.
Yeah.
And when he first got introduced, I thought, wow, this is a good character. He was very emotional, very sympathetic. He seemed like he was just a really solid guy, really solid dude. And then almost out of nowhere, it's going to be a spoiler. Almost out of nowhere, he becomes this angry rapist.
Yeah, straight up sexual harassment.
Out of nowhere, and he ends up, spoiler, he ends up firing her. I don't care. Let's spoil this fucking movie. No one needs to watch this. He ends up firing her because she wouldn't sleep with him, and it doesn't match up at all. It's the first half of this movie, he's this really good dude who's helping her get on her feet, helping her with her son, being very generous. Then like it hits a switch where he all of a sudden he's this like sex craving maniac.
In all fairness, I have met guys like that are like nice to girls and do everything for them until they find out that, oh, you won't sleep with me and now I'm going to be a dick to you. Maybe.
But it's like he was the only like good character there, and they had to just flip him around just to further drive home the idea that this whole town is shitty for no reason. It wasn't like the town was like directly tied in with the Children of the Corn mythology, or like it was like had a cult in it. It was just like everyone in this town was just a shitty person, especially the principal. For no like there's this really weird subplot where the principal like doesn't like our main character, doesn't want her like in her town, is racist for some reason, and there's no comeuppance, there's no follow up on that. It's just kind of there. Like you don't see her get killed, do you? Or did I miss that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, she never gets her comeuppance. It's never brought up other than a couple times where she's just a bitch, and then
You
it
can't
just
be
goes
here.
away. Yeah, it just goes away. It just like, whoop. And it's never like brought up again. It's really weird why that was even there. I don't understand why it even took up screen time, but it did. Yeah, it's just a weird movie, and it just I was not excited to watch it. I understand why I didn't watch it because it was just a bad
Right.
movie. Who keeps asking for Children of the Corn sequels?
I don't know. To be honest,
I didn't like the first one. The first one was boring as shit.
it's not that great. I mean,
No.
nobody wants to see people killed by a computer-generated blue light.
Now, I will say, the ending of this, the last 3 minutes, I really enjoyed the last 3 minutes of it. You find out that her son, that her whole life has been leading to this point, and that her destiny wasn't to run away from the Children of the Corn, but actually to bring them their new prophet and her son. And there's a really cool shot at the end where our main, I guess, antagonist, the little girl, is. Did you watch past the credits? Well, she walks into the rows, and you see this like presence form behind her, and it's like this black matter, and you see his hand come around, just like caress her, and it's this big like monstrous fucking hand with claws and shit. I was like, damn, why did they put that in the fucking movie? Like, why did we get this boring piece of shit? And then at the last 2-3 minutes of it, it brings you this like actually intriguing, interesting like plot point. It is so weird. What the fuck was up with this movie?
I don't know. I didn't like this movie at all.
No, not at all. I mean, 82 minutes, man. And it felt like I kept like looking at my, like kept like pausing to see how much I had longer, pausing to see how much longer, and like it never felt like it sped up. Like it was like, oh my god, like you feel like you were watching it for a half hour. You pause it, you're like 5 minutes in because the movie just drags. It's like moves at snail's pace the whole time, and there's no like climactic elements to it. No action sequences, nothing. It's just this very boring, poorly told story.
Just the cinematography and the camera work made it really hard to watch.
Constantly moving that damn camera.
Close-up shots for no reason. Like there's one point where I think she shakes the waitress's hand, and it's like a fucking close-up of her shaking it. Why do we need that there? Why do you need to show that? That makes no sense.
We had to establish they were shaking hands.
Right.
It's very
You had
vital
to
to the
change
plot.
fucking cameras.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see them doing like multiple camera angles and stuff like that, but it switches so many times in every fucking scene. There's like 18 million fucking camera angles. And it's impossible to watch this movie, I think. If you can sit through this movie and enjoy it, more power to you. I couldn't do it. There was so many camera angles. Every camera was shaky.
If you're for some reason like a fan of the Children of the Corn movies, like why? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It blows my mind when there are like these new Children of the Corn movies coming out, because I don't understand what justifies the next one being made. Like why was this made, and why are you gonna make another one? It's crazy. This is number 10 in this series, and there are way better like horror franchises out there that deserve sequels that don't have them. So
I don't think anything should exist for 10 sequels. That's a lot. Diminishing returns.
So Ed, do you think Children of the Corn Runaway is worth a watch?
No, absolutely not. If you see this in a store somewhere, hide it so no one else buys it too. It's absolutely a piece of shit. How about yourself? What do you think?
No, definitely don't watch this. It's boring. It's stupid. It serves no purpose. Like, I don't understand why it was made. No, just don't watch it. Save yourself the time. Save yourself the anguish and don't watch it. So that was our review of Children of the Corn Runaway. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you've seen it, or are you going to see it?
Don't forget to check out our social media pages at Not a Cult Films. Check out He Nerd at He Nerd.
And until next time, this has been Not a Cult Films.